Hey guys and welcome. Today I'll be showing you how to install an aftermarket head unit in my 2004 Subaru Forester. Now this should work on pretty much all Subaru models because they're all very similar, and if it's not the exact same, it will be very close to it, so you should be able to figure it out either way. So let's get to it. Here are all the products and tools you will need to complete this job. Start off with your aftermarket head unit, your dash install kit, your wiring harness adapter, and for Subaru models 2005 and up, you'll need a radio antenna adapter, you'll need a Phillips head screwdriver, a small flathead, and a small pry bar. Typically it's best to use the plastic trim removal tools so you don't damage your interior. You'll also need wire strippers and some soldering supplies. Links to everything here will be in the description down below. So with the wiring harness, I like to start off by cutting all my little pieces of shrink wrap first, just so I don't forget to put them on them first. And for the coloring, it's usually pretty standardized as far as aftermarket radios go. You can find all the list of all the different ones on the back of the packaging typically. And for the Pioneer, or for the Sony stereo, you can usually search it up, but it'll always be the same. Next, slide all the shrink wrap down the wiring harness to make sure you don't forget it, because there's nothing worse than soldering them all together and then finding out that you forgot to put all the shrink wrap on there. How I like to solder these wiring harness adapters together is I like to split them into three groups. The gray and the white wires, the green and the purple wires, and all the rest, just to try and keep them more organized so it just doesn't turn into a jumbled mess when you do it, because they're never the same kind of pins. So you can't just go in order, because they'll always be out of order. Like you see here, it starts off with like purple and green, white and gray and black, and then the rest of them. And this one, it has the white and the gray and the green and the purple on the top and the bottom. So just to help keep them organized, I like to separate them like this. And I'm not going to show you how to solder, because I'm sure you can find a million videos on how to solder, and everybody has their own way. So but whatever you do, please do solder it, especially if you're going to be keeping your vehicle for a long time, as those crimp connects, I find after a couple years of bouncing around in there, the connections won't be that great, and it could hurt your audio quality, or just your radio could stop working altogether. So it's always a good idea to solder your harness together. So after soldering your connections together, give it a good tug to make sure that it's actually connected properly, and just slide your shrink tube over top of it, making sure it covers all of it. Then, with a lighter or a torch, just give it a little bit of heat. It'll shrink up, giving you a good seal to make sure that nothing goes wrong with it. And while you're doing this, just ensure that between the two colors, one has a black stripe on it and one doesn't. So just make sure you hook up the right wires to the right wires. So there you go. It's all soldered together all nicely. And even on this is the remote wire coming out of the head unit. I like to just cap it off just to make sure that, you know, no short or anything could ever happen there. You know, just thinking ahead. Alright, on to the interior. So to remove the stock head unit, all you do is you come down to this interior piece right here, and just simply pull up and back on it. Pops out very easily. Then back there you can see this little connector here. You just unplug that. Next, there's two Phillips screws on either side there. So just grab your screwdriver and unscrew them. And I like to, just to keep organized, put all my screws down in there. Luckily, we're only dealing with Phillips screws, and they're all the same, so there's no getting them mixed up or anything. But after that, once those are out, you simply pull out on it. Should pop out a little bit. And then this is where trim removal tools would come in handy, but I don't care about my interior too much. So just pry up around the edges of this piece here. And it should pop out just like that. Then simply pull it forwards. And back here there's three plugs. There's this one right in between the two vents here. You just push in the tab on the side and pop out. And then down there, there's 2 more for the heater controls, and it's the same kind of system. The tab's on the bottom this time, and they're a little harder to get out. So just push up on the tab from the bottom and pull out. So just squeeze and pull out. And then this whole trim piece gets removed. Just set it off to the side there. Next, with this, to remove the head unit, there's 2 Phillips screws up top and 2 down below, you can kind of see there. So just grab your screwdriver and remove those. Once those are all out, just grab the stereo and pull it out. Then there are 3 plugs on the back, one there, and then the radio one there. So just pull them out one by one. And then on the bottom here, attached to the bracket, there's a little ground that just pops right off. Like that. And then just take that out, set it on the ground there. And once your stock head unit's out, it's always a good idea to grab your adapter harness and your new radio and just plug it all in and make sure it works before you go through the hassle of putting it all back together and finding out it doesn't. So I just plugged that one in there, and the radio in the back, and then just set it down. And then just turn the key in your car. And there we go, it's on. Now we can see here. Make sure all the speakers work.
Do that, Tyler. Kill yourself or anyone.
There we go. Got Tyler the Creator in there right now. Make sure the radio works. I hear static, yep. So it's looking all good. And now we can put together the dash install kit. Alright, so to put this dash install kit together, always start off by reading your instructions thoroughly, as there's a lot of parts in here and you don't want to mess it up because it might seem like it works right, but it'll just be a hair off or, you know, just a little weird. So you're going to start off by removing 4 Phillips head screws on the side of your stock radio and pull this plate off, as we will need it for the aftermarket one. And repeat the process on the other side. And once that's off, you're done with this beast. So just set that over there somewhere. And then with the rest of it, you begin by taking this piece right here and just snapping it into the little pocket. Next, you take these little pieces and just pop them on the side there like that and screw them in. Next, stack the head unit and the pocket, and then simply take it and line up your Subaru bracket on the side of it, just like that. All holes should line up, and then just use your provided screws to bolt it into both. Also, make sure that you put the little grounding tabs on the bottom, and make sure like the brackets are facing the right way. It says left hand, and on the other side it says right hand. Once it's all screwed together, it should look something like this. I'm actually missing a little trim piece that should go around there, so it'd look, normally it would line up a little better there, but it's alright. Then back in the interior, just take it and plug it back in again. Plug in the wiring harness, the radio, and make sure you remember the little ground cable down below. And then what you're gonna have to do is, typically with these, since you're adding so much more wire, it won't wanna just go in nicely. So you might have to take it, but it seems like this one goes in nicely. Plenty of room back there. Most of the time though, you'll have to grab the wires and kind of like bunch them up and tuck them down in like way behind in there, but this one goes in fine. Once it's in place, just go through and reinstall the 4 screws. And once that's all bolted in and working, it's always a good idea to test it once again just to make sure. just go back through, plug those two back in, and this one up between the vents back in as well. Once those are all plugged in, you want to start by pushing it in through the top here, and then you're going to give it a firm push at the top here, and then also along the sides, and it should click in. And then once you come down to the bottom, I find that you kind of got to like lift up on it. You see that there? Lift up on it and push in, and then they'll be in place. Then you just reattach those two screws there. Next, just take this trim piece and reinstall this plug down there, and then you'll take it, slide it up under, put the shifter back in neutral, makes it a little easier, up under there, and then just push in and click down. And there we go. Now it's all back together and your head unit is all installed. There we go, it's all in, done, and working fine. I'm not going to play any music because I don't want to get copyright striked, but yeah, that's it. Hopefully this helped you out install your head unit in your Subaru. If it did or you enjoyed it, please subscribe or like and leave comments or whatever. I'll probably answer whenever I can or whenever I see you guys comment. So thanks for watching and see you later.